Welcome, Wapham crew and new listeners. Secure your tuneful hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, August 26th, Sunday, August 27th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. So I hope you guys have had an awesome week so far, and an awesome weekend. Mine's been pretty crazy. We've got COVID part 3 in the house, so Trace 3, whatever you want to call it, the third time has to be a charm, but everything's been going better, Nova and Vern have been on the medication that Biden took. I don't remember what it's called. And it leaves a really shitty taste in their mouth, but it really seems to help with the effects of COVID. Me and the other two, we've just been going all natural because, I don't know, the last couple times we've had it, we've just done it that way, and I think it's all part of the genetic pool. It's pretty intriguing. So I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on Spreaker.com. You can also find us on KPNL Radio, which you can find on KPNL at kpnl-db.com. We've also gotten picked up by a couple different places. We're now on Amazon as well as Podcast Find. Then you may also find us once again on your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podcast Chaser. Please make sure you mosey your way on over. And some of our listeners are like pretty hardcore, like YouTube listeners. You can put it on a spin and listen to different shows. You can mix it up, or you can go in line, but go to our YouTube under We Are Paradox Media. Make sure you follow us. Please like any video that you've listened to and leave a comment, whether it's good or bad, or perhaps a future guest you'd like to have on. As far as future guests go, make sure you send that to us as well on our email at weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com. So tonight, I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight, we have Robert White and we have Travis Hilliard Moostoos on. Kevin McDougal is supposed to be on here too, but he has not yet arrived, so he might be still taking a nap or something. But we've had a couple losses in the family this week, one personal as far as family, and one personal as far as like my paranormal, aka spiritual family. And a lot of you may know, a lot of you may not, but Corrine V. Concordoli, she is known as Corrine de Winter, and I'm going to read her obituary really quick. With a profound sadness, we announce the passing of our dear, beautiful, kind, living sister, Corrine. Corrine was born February 15th, 1966, to Louis and Corrine L. Concatili. She was raised in Long Meadow and remained there most of her life until recently, buying her dream home in Holyoke, Wyckoff Park area. She was a brilliant writer, poet, humanitarian, philanthropist, and above all, love. She successfully ran 2 businesses and was also a gifted clairvoyant with the profound ability to comfort everyone she knew. So sweet, compassionate, and loving to all, she will remain a guiding beam of grace and light to all who loved her. She leaves behind to honor her siblings, Clara Caliento, and her dear brother-in-law, Anthony Caliento, who she adored. Her sister, Shirley Concatili, predeceased. She just died, I believe, this last year. Her brothers, Louis Concatili, Gina, her brother, Anthony Concatili, Stephanie, her dear and close friend, Jimmy Hijack, her nieces, Amber Berard, Karina Berard, nephew, Caleb Berard, for who she was like a mother to. Her dear cousin Nino, and his family, and many, many living friends. So her funeral, if you guys are in the area of Boston or New York or anywhere near there, New Jersey, wherever you're at, if you can go, I would I would pray that you do. Her funeral will be held on September 7th at 11 a.m. and visitation will be happening. Therefore, at 11:30, Christian Mass at St. Mary's Church in Longmeadow will be happening. Donations may be made to SaveTheChildren.com. Kareen will eternally remain a beautiful example of what we all should be and a blessing to all. And that she was. She was really amazing and really a strong point in our group. I know, we'd be talking about willy-nilly things and silly stuff, and she's like, hey, we need to be focusing on, like, how we can help each other and all these different things. Like, we need to help people. And she knew that there's really that drive or that draw going on. And it really is a time where we need to reach out to each other. And, she ended up losing her sister not too long ago, and that was really hard on her. And then losing a lot of her precious belongings. She set them out to move, and somebody threw them away. I don't know. She went through a lot of stuff. And she just done a show, I believe, that Friday, right before she passed. But I don't know. I'm going to miss her. I have some artwork of hers hanging up here in my studio. And I still have my Tesla purple plate. It is in a little plastic thing, but I don't want it to get scratched up or anything. But I still have that with me. But yeah, she was amazing. And yeah, if you guys do want to go ahead and send that, I'll put that in the chat room as far as the link where you can go to donate to Save the Children. But yes, we're going to go on to our guest tonight, and I know Robert knew Kareen. I don't know if Travis did. But if you guys have anything you wanted to add to that, feel free to.
I'm just thinking that BTO is going to be showing her all the hotspots.
Right? Yeah, that's one of the things that
hello to everyone in the chat room and everyone that's listening now and listening in the future and listening in the past and right, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, that's one of the things that I wrote because people were leaving comments on our page and stuff, and I just felt like I had to, and I know BTO is gonna be there waiting for her because she was there for him when he was leaving this earth, and yeah, then her dad and her sister, and it's so sad, but it's so happy at the same time. I don't know.
Our journey's end is another's beginning.
Brand new beginning. So yeah, I'm just very sad about it, but at the same time, I don't know, it just felt like, I don't know, felt like something that was in the works. I don't know. I don't know if you felt
Still
that
never got the
too.
plate from her.
Huh?
I still never got the plate from her.
You haven't?
No.
If I find
And I
my
wait
other
now
one.
wait now forever.
Oh. Well, remember there was that one lady that was like kind of nipping in on her business and stuff. Maybe you can find a purple plate somewhere else, but it wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't.
Man. Hey, Sandra. Yeah, it is sad. And it makes you wonder because I know she had an autoimmune thing going on and blah, blah, blah. And she did, I believe, have the vaccination and she did get COVID. And there's so many theories going on about the vaccinations and the COVID virus and everything else. Generally leads to um, pulmonary or cardiac or some sort of issue, even paralyzation. Maybe it's genomes, maybe it's genetics. I'm not sure, but yeah, she's been really strong in the thoughts this week. And I keep thinking I had a dream with her in it, but I can't remember. I've been having really weird dreams lately.
You too, huh? I had one last night where killer whales actually lived up to their name.
So yours has to do with death and moida and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not
Well,
natural.
the Japanese whalers had something to fear. The whales were getting their own back.
Travis, are you still there? Is Travis there? I don't know. I can't see the other screen. Yeah, and Sandra's
Yeah,
saying
he's
right
popping about.
here that she was even more than her dad. I know losing her dad like really hurt her. And it takes a while to get over that. Like my dad passed almost 18 years ago, and it seems still like yesterday, or even a couple years ago. But when her sister passed, like that was really hardcore for her. I know that affected her greatly. So she could have died from a broken heart. Maybe it's not COVID. Maybe it's not the jab. Maybe it's being heartbroken. And there's a true scientific study that shows when things like this happen, your heart is being held up by these different strands of flesh or whatnot, kind of like, bungee cords or whatever. And these will break during that process when your heart is breaking. Those things break. It's pretty
Oh, atrophy.
insane. Yeah, pretty sad. So, let me look over here. Oh, Travis is back, but we can't hear you. You're muted. At least you're not mutated. That we know of. Ruh-roh.
Well, you can hear you. He laughed. You got to push the button, the one over on the left-hand side that looks like a microphone. If it's blue, it's active. If it's white with a cross through it, it's not.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was pretty awesome while we're waiting for his mic to unmute. I don't know if there's any way for me to unmute him. Nope. I can only mute you. I can't unmute you. But yeah, they're getting ready for the powwow up there coming up in September. We're also going to be doing security for a powwow, also the Ute Nation Rodeo. I'm pretty excited about that. A little scared because there are a couple girls that hate my guts. One of them threatened to stab me, so I'm like, if I'm riding around with you, I'll ride around on a cart, but otherwise I'm going to watch the animals over here.
But stab you with what?
A kniff.
A
An
knife.
actual knife, and I was like, bring
Mm.
it! And Vern's like holding me back. Like, I'm scared of you. I've had training and all this stuff. I will take that knife away from you. I won't use it because that's not me, but
No.
I don't know if you should
Go out
disconnect
and
and
come
come
back
back
in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be able to
You
hang
got
up
my.
and then rejoin call.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
Oh.
we don't have Miss Mia on this evening because she is hosting a party at her place. At the ranch.
Wow.
Yeah. I would have gone, but I don't want to get anybody sick, and I'm feeling much better. My voice is still a little hoarse, but I don't. Yeah. Nay, nay. Yeah, but I don't want to get anybody sick, so.
Yeah.
I also have. She lost her
Yes.
sunglasses when we were looking at goats, and then I owe her $200 for doing security for the fair, so probably see her on Monday. I was just gonna put it in the mailbox, and Vern's like, "Don't do that.
Yeah,
It's
because you
safe."
never know, those porch thieves over that way, they'll come along and look at the letter boxes as well.
We're like, "Whoa, what's this?"
$200, yay! Party!
Woohoo! And it's cash. I wonder if I
Travis
have
is
to
still
re-add
muted.
him.
I don't
Oh.
know. Maybe.
Oh no. So weird.
It is.
I wonder if he hung up and then came back.
No, he hasn't yet. He's been on my screen all the time. Because there's me on the left side, you on the top, and then him on the bottom on the right.
He said he's trying to fix it.
Okay. No worries. No problems.
We got this. We got this. So I don't know about you, but I've been noticing in the news recently, whether it be on YouTube or wherever else, Facebook, Instagram, tons of UFOs. Like there's been UFOs going on for the longest time, but it's like a mass. And this most recent one I saw was saying it's either a really big ship or a lot of different ones, and it looked like a lot of different ones because it wasn't in a line. It was like you have one over here and one back here, like being the tail, but there's a lot of different stuff going on. Is it going on over there in Australia as well?
I've been hearing a little bit about it. Yeah, there's been a few more sightings down this way. There's a friend that I have on the Ghost Grannies show. That she actually saw one in real life. Back when she was about, I think she was 7 or 8, and I think she's about 40ish, somewhere in her 40s now. And she described the three lights, a central one and two on either side, and they were lit up behind trees, similar to how Dave had his experience. I'm not going to mention the last name, but yeah.
We know.
Yeah, but it rose and then shot off like 100 km an hour straight into the air and disappeared. And she lived down at that point in time on a farm near a military base down in, I think, either New South Wales or Victoria. And her and one other, her friend, they both saw it and they hightailed it home, and they told their story, and their parents didn't believe her. So, but she mentioned that on a show not long back. So I mentioned how I saw mine in a dream, and she said, "Oh, you had the control," because mine was the one that was about coffin shaped. It was a triangle, had the lights on like the borders of the triangle, and came down, landed in our backyard, and it opened up from the back, and me being the naughty bastard that I am, got inside, and it had like a memory foam type of lay down bed almost that I crawled up onto. And as I said, this was a dream, so I don't know how real it was, but it had a couple of wires coming out from all I could see was like almost like a TV screen with all these buttons on either side, sort of like Kit. And the wires kind of hit into my head, and I was able to see what the craft could see. Basically, like a multi-cameraed, almost 3D effect around the outside, almost like virtual reality. And yeah, that's where the dream ended, but that's what I saw. So, and that would actually make sense that would be the control craft that would go up into the middle probably and control the whole thing.
Yeah, it's interesting the different stories that people have and how it generally starts with a smaller craft. You go up to a bigger craft. Sometimes there's walls. Sometimes it looks like an open space into space where you can see things. Yeah. And then there's this little control room that kind of doesn't make sense. But
there you go.
The memory foam thing kind of just sucks
make it
you
easy
into
to
where,
lay there. Yeah.
Yeah, it fits for everyone. One size fits all.
Mm-hmm. Until the next person comes along and say, "This isn't me. That's not my shape."
In denial. It's not just a river in Egypt. No, but it's been intriguing, and I believe Travis. Hopefully he can get back on. Hopefully he didn't mess with too much stuff, but Try the settings up by your name. There's 3 dots. Do that, but it's weird that it worked before. Now it's not. So I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
just you have the mic, you have the camera, you have the phone on the bottom. If there's a line through the mic, you just push that. That'll unmute you generally, or just hang up and come back. Because once I try to fix things, sometimes I make it way worse. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, well, when you come back in, it's automatically on with the microphone. So,
Be careful.
yeah.
Um, so recently I saw that you were posting like people in different costumes and such. Was there like a
That was
Paracon going
yesterday.
on?
It was called Capricorn because we're on the Capricorn coast, and yeah, so it was all just done yesterday. So everyone was there in costume. Oh, most people were there in costume. Other people were there laughing at the people in costumes. But and I saw a ghost guy in a sheet, but then I spotted the Ghostbuster and told him, "Oh, you missed one. That way."
What of there? You want a stat?
Hmm. And I was there just in the Obehave costume. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Obehave.
Nice.
Yeah, so I didn't get anyone that I know of taking photos of me, but then again, I was taking photos of people without without asking them. But there was big signs up all over the place. I didn't read it until after I was on my way out that I was supposed to get permission before taking photos. I didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy because like it's got to be in a place where you see it before you do it. And it's like when I do those ghost stories from Reddit, I'll read
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of stories and then all of a sudden I had two this last time, which at the very
Mm-hmm.
bottom it said, "Do not read without permission." I'm like, shouldn't that go up at the top instead of me
Above,
reading it?
yeah,
Yeah, and then at the end being like, oops.
that's like Doctor Strange. The warnings come after the spells.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I saw a guy dressed up as Strange, as Ant-Man, as Thor. Uh, Kids were all dressed up as different things as well. There were quite a few costumes I did not recognise. One person there with full-on green hair and some sort of staff with weird wriggly things all over it. I had to go up and ask her what she was from, and she said she was, what was it, Sylph or something like that from one of the D&D games. So
Oh, I thought you were going to say
there are
Uranus.
no there were quite a few people done up as the Stranger Things girl, and that it was in the ice cream in that outfit. And then there were a couple of guys in that outfit as well. Half tempted to go up and ask what flavors you got. I didn't though. There were a few there that I didn't even recognize what the hell they were. They were some sort of predator, alien mix. Um,
I don't know if you've seen the previews for it, but when
mm,
I first saw it, I didn't even realize what it was till at the very end. It was Predator,
mm,
and it's like a native themed thing.
Prey.
So, Prey, yes. And I
Seen
was
it.
like, that looks really good. Is it good? Do you recommend
It
it,
could have
or
been
were you
better.
let down? You're like, oh
It could
man.
have been better. Like that, they didn't show the predator for most of the film. Like it was basically just the what is it? It was Comanche, the Comanche Indians. Or,
Mhm.
I hope I'm getting that right. But it was basically showing them how they lived off the land and were hunting everything, and they'd come across some poachers, and the predator didn't like the fact that they'd been poaching. So I won't spoil it for anyone who is going to watch it, but revenge is taken. So yeah, it was okay compared to the first two. I'd say this is the number three.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
Actually, out of the four, there's The third one was Predators, and that was with the people snatched from Earth, taken to the other planet, and let loose. That wasn't as good. This was better than that one. Number three. So to go 1, 2, 4, 3 for me.
All right. So it doesn't go in order, but kind of.
Mm.
So we got Chuck Bam in the chat, and he says the Galactic Federation is showing themselves. As we increase our vibrations on Gaia, many of us will turn into light beings and will commune with the ascended masters. This will only happen after we stop devolving. Maybe in 10 million years. I don't know. I just know it's been going on for at least the last good 4 or 5 years. There's been tons of sightings, and a lot of them fleets. It's like blink, 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 blink. Yay! I think I hear Travis.
Hi, I'm back again. So
welcome.
Yeah, my program and everything, my laptop just decided to go nope, and yeah. So, but I'm back. So I'm happy to be back. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Here. Oh, no worries.
UFOs, and I'm now I'm all excited.
Yes, we do have paratechnical issues here, and really it depends on who's speaking to each other. Sometimes there's nothing, sometimes it's just like total meltdown of everything. But yeah, welcome back. I'm glad you're back. Glad it's working, and I know you've had some sightings recently or been posting some things, so I want to hear from your side as well. Did you hear what Chuck Bam had to say in the chat room?
Sorry, no, I did not.
Okay, he said the Galactic Federation is showing themselves. As we increase our vibrations on Gaia, many of us will turn into light beings and will commune with the ascended masters. This will only happen after we stop evolving, maybe in 10 million years, but I think it's coming sooner because, I don't know, I've seen a massive increase within the last, I'm going to say 4 or so years. Could be 5 or so, but for quite some time, different fleets have been blinking in. I don't know what the heck they're doing, but my first sighting was 2012. I don't know if that's because things picked up, but pretty interesting.
They're coming back to see the local artwork, all those indigenous paintings of themselves.
Right?
Left all the monuments are coming back to check out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all the interactions they had.
Oh, that's me. Yeah.
They really need to work on that Kachina doll. That doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah, those Kachinas are wild.
They got that spacesuit wrong.
Yeah, there's been quite a few sightings in my area, and they say like it's been picking up a lot in Ontario as well. And it's very interesting when you go out there and you're spotting throughout the night sky, and you see these interesting crafts flying about. And I ended up getting a few pictures and videos, which I post on my page on Facebook, which is the Four Directions UFO Society. Usually we have about it's a pretty active page, but we share a lot of articles and videos and pictures up there. But like I said, I share also what I capture as well too, right? So it's been a very interesting experience. Like I said a few weeks ago, I seen interesting it was almost like a horseshoe, like half a horseshoe shaped craft flying through the sky, and it was it was a great capture. I got quite a few photos, and I got Bill Hauser to run through it with the analysis, and we were checking it out, and got some great, I should say, zoomed in photos of it as well. So, me and him are having a great time checking some of these things out as I, continue to capture them. But it's been a progression, and as you said, it's been building and more frequently. People try to say there was one night we had 50, we had 3 witnesses with us, and like I said, there was 50 spherical cylindrical craft lights flying and following each other, but they weren't following each other in a straight line. They had a little diagonal diagonal formation kind of going, and they were following each other. If they were looking south, they were heading east to west, and people are trying to say Starlink, and I'm like, nah, Starlink when you see that, you know what I mean? And it's
like a train. It's in a line.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's moving quite fast compared to a lot of these we see.
and these objects seem to appear in the Snake Bearer constellation, and they somehow just like appear like they're coming out of I don't want to say teleport, but maybe like some warp speed or some fast travel, and they're just kind of slowing down, and these light, all of a sudden you see the light flare up, and you're like, oh, okay, look at that. It's like they're almost entering in the atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they come in
or
and
stratosphere.
they power up or whatever. It's like they blink in, they cruise for a little bit, then they start to power back up because that took a lot of energy.
Yes, very correct. Like, so I'm just like watching this magical show in the sky, and you know what I mean? It's a magical show, but it's a nice. It
is magical to me. It's like,
yeah, and I get a good feeling, good vibes from it. Like, and that's how I know that it's it is what it's happening, right? Like the experience is happening, and like I said, the feeling's there, and also too, like we get a lot of other crafts and satellites, and you can just tell the difference between that and a lot of sometimes we get flashing ones blinking in and out, and we also get the ones that will just flare. Yes, and they'll flash in one area, but then they'll be like slightly a little bit more up or down, or like they'll switch, blink. They'll blink in and out, and then we've had some that actually just flared up and then just took off in they flew off. You know what I mean? They get flared up, lit up.
Yeah, they're like big, and then they get smaller and smaller and disappear.
Yeah, but like upward. You know what I mean? Going up. You know what I mean? Like so, like these things they're out there, man, and they're flying around, and it's amazing when you get to see them, or get to check them out, or So to me, it's always like I always just. To me, I always like I'm so grateful for those moments. You know what I mean? And seeing that in the universe and being one with it, because we're so down here on this earth and pretending to be human with our lives, and we forget how disconnected we are from the universe as a whole. You know what I mean? And how connected we are and can be. You know what I mean? Through frequency and like I said, the connection of Earth and all the cosmos all together. Right? It's all intertwined and yeah. So like when I see that connection to the sky and the star beings, and you know what I mean, it's just like I said, that good feeling comes back when I see all that, right? And it just reminds me, brings me back. So yeah, no,
yeah, it does give you certain feelings. I think if it's bad, you'll get a bad feeling. If it's good, you'll get a good feeling. I think it was the very first sighting I had. I was unsure. Like I was so excited, trying to get my phone open, trying to record it, couldn't do it, so I called the family over. Because I have to have some sort of witness, whether it be recorded or witnesses. And they saw it, and then I opened the door, and I stepped out into the snow, and right as soon as I stepped out, I thought, well, I don't know what this thing wants, or if I try to approach it, is it going to hurt me, or am I going to get sick, or what? So I just stepped back in, because at this point, I have 3 kids. I now have 4, but came back in, closed the door, and just watched it just go along my fence line till it was behind the trees and I couldn't see it anymore. But that to me was amazing. And my kids have also we're talking about dreams and things that may or may not be real. I had this experience. It seemed like a dream, but it could be real. Maybe it's meant to feel like a dream. But my kids talking about their experience being almost abducted. They actually jumped out of the craft and onto the aliens' heads and ran. So they didn't come back for them. But that was a shared dream. I think that was actually a shared experience. It just felt like a dream to them. So it's pretty intriguing.
That's usually like the mind's way of just interpreting such an encounter, right? And most of the time, because our society trains the mind to these encounters are terrifying in movies and media and the way people portray them. So most of the time, people's minds just generally go for that direction, you know what I mean? But like what your buddy's saying there with enlightening yourself and connecting with Gaia and all the universe, these connections help people, with more of a positive experience, you know what I mean, and more of a understanding and connection to that, you know what I mean. And but like when it just happens to some, you know what I mean, and it's unexplainable just because they're floating at a higher frequency or vibration in their lives, and then it can be interpreted or misinterpreted in such a way. But yeah, I do believe like if they did escape and all that, and I imagine that it wasn't what they were initially thinking, like it was an abduction or anything like that. Maybe they're readying their intuition or their consciousness for a next level, and then their mind is just they escaped in their for their mind to like calibrate what was happening. You know what I mean? But instead, essentially, maybe they were just brought back. You know, but the mind is like thinking they escaped because we're always like a survival mode, essentially through evolution. So it's like it could be interpreted in many ways like that. But yes.
So Chuck came back and said, "You are seeing USSA Ben Rich, the USSA Ben Rich scout craft. But this is not just one craft. Like, okay, so when we're saying they're going zigzag, this and that, some are just moving forward, some are kind of in a staggered line, some are going up, some are going down, but they're all generally moving in the same direction. Like, they have the same place or port or whatever you want to call it that they're going to go. There's a place that they're trying to go, and they're pretty high up in space, really. A lot of them are closer, but a lot of them that have been seen recently are kind of farther out there in space. You can see them; they kind of look like stars, but they're moving. Some are zigzagging up and down, some are kind of in a zigzag formation, some are in a straight line. I don't think this is one craft, whatever the Ben Rich may be. Have you heard of that, Robert or Travis?
The Ben Rich.
Yeah, the USSA Ben Rich.
I'd have to. I'm pretty sure I might have heard of it, but it might be like because I just have this catalog going in my mind off right now, so it's in there somewhere, I imagine. But these crafts are huge in the sky if they're out there, right? And we're seeing them down here. Like I try to take a photo of a deer in a field, and it's doesn't even come out. So if I'm getting a picture of this craft in the sky, this thing is massive, like.
Okay, so he's now saying 87,000 IRS agents. So those are people that deal with their taxes. And then our military. And that freaking mouse just scared the crap out of me again. I have a house mouse. I wish it was gone. But yeah, I don't know. IRS agents, I don't even know if we have that many anymore because it takes so long to do the taxes. But our military, yes. Then we have the Space Force, yes. I don't know if every country has that or if it's just us, but I don't think it's anything like that. Like Travis was saying, these are coming from certain areas in space. I've seen them from different directions than you have, Travis. Some of them are coming from, like Betelgeuse, the Betelgeuse planet, that area. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah, you go back far enough into the stories of the ancients, and they come from the ground and out of the water as well. So, like these crafts are, very capable of, performing these things that we're just not, these feats that we're just not capable of withstanding in terms of propulsion and just the change of direction and how they're dropping 13,000 feet and then speeding off just as fast these it's just nice now that in Congress that they're eliminating a lot of the spy planes and drones and blimps out of the conversation, and it's actually getting down to the extraterrestrial life or life beyond our planet and some of these organisms that we might have not even have known, because some of these things could even be natural that we just never discovered yet or had never made its way to our side, right?
And I think that a lot of these craft that do come from the earth or do come from the water or go into the water, maybe they've been here for a long time, but I don't think they originate from here. I think they've been coming here for centuries. Even BC, before Christ was born, even maybe perhaps before the dinosaurs. But in recorded time, like there's paintings, there's different stories and theologies and other things. Most people think they're angels. Maybe there's a connection between angels and UFOs and aliens. Maybe they're all one and the same. Maybe they're all different entities, which I believe there's enough space for everyone. Yeah, it's pretty intriguing. They do come from Earth. They do come from the water. Did they originate here, or have they just been here forever?
They're very interested in the planet, I feel. When the ancients talk or refer to them, they come down and they visit our culture. Some of them instill people with ethics, downloads of ethics, culture, spiritual ceremonies, these visions of the future, warnings. They're almost like sky guardians or protectors. But the way our ancients refer to the planet Earth is it's a mother planet. It's a planet that can birth many different beings across the galaxy. And this is what makes it such a wonderful place and such a rare place and unit inside of our part of the universe, I should say, or the galaxy. And we're here as natural caretakers and beings of this beautiful Mother Earth. And that's the reason why we refer to it as that, right? And so that's just one of the theories I have that they're very interested in it for, aside from resources and way everybody sees it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is Robert still there? I haven't heard from him in a while. A little bit. I'm about to ask the pertinent question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so as far as all this goes and our origination, a lot of people think that we were seeded here by the aliens in order to mine these different minerals. Like you said, have an interest in our planet. Could be gold, could be silver, could be both, could be copper, could be platinum, who knows? Maybe unobtainium, which is basically impossible to possess. So goes the name. Were we seated here to help the aliens with the crafts or whatnot? Because they kind of got stuck here. That's why they go underground or underwater. Or is it something else? Were we originally here and then they just came and found us? I don't know. What are you guys' perspectives?
Well, I think that there were other creatures here before we showed up, like before we evolved from the monkeys. And then I guess if they saw a exploitable slave force, and they could have easily gone, "Oh, we are your gods. Do this or we will smite you." And it looks like Mooney's about to say something. Mooney?
Mooney made it.
Say hello. You're muted. We had this mute problem with Travis. Nod. One minute, yes, one.
This message will self-destruct in T-10, 9, 8.
You can't figure out what to do.
I couldn't get back to your lovely faces. I'm so sorry.
Yay!
Greetings, all.
Greetings, Mooney.
Travis, good to see you. Good to meet you. I've seen you before. I can't remember the last time we met. Tessa, so good to see you tonight. Robert, good to see you. I blame Major League Baseball for lulling me into a nap that I couldn't get out of.
True that. Football used to do that to me. Best nap time ever.
Yes. As far as our origins here on this planet, it has always been my opinion and my feeling that we were hybridized or created through the help of aliens, and that was the basis of our origin story. I think it's well documented throughout history. There are so many stories that are written down and through the tomes of every basic religion. And I think that's pretty much undeniable as you look through history, that we were brought into this world through genetic engineering by another race or another, with the help of another species or whatever. And of course, it's going to be either they were already here or they came and visited. And most likely, by what the stories go, they came to visit us on this planet and they created us. And basically, that's how I go by it. There's just too much evidence. I don't think they were gods. I just think they were, extraterrestrials. And the evidence piles up that way, and I just go along with it. That's that, and there's where I go. As far as everything else goes, I don't know what all you guys talked about before I got here, but you had some interesting stuff.
Just different sightings. Have you guys had a lot of sightings up there in Ohio, or different reports? Have you seen anything?
Yeah, goodness, yes. Ohio has always been northeastern Ohio has always been a hotbed of sightings. Everything over Lake Erie included, northern Ohio, all of Ohio basically. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is in Ohio. That's in the south western quadrant of Ohio. Then you have northeastern Ohio, which is where I'm at. We're up here. It's the steel belt where they made lots and lots of ammunition. We still have armament manufacturing up here, where we were, made a lot of the ammunition and stuff for World War II, and we still make lots of ammunition and stuff, and handguns and other things like that. And so we were always part of UFO folklore, and we still are, and in cryptids and everything like that. I saw my first UFO when I was approximately, I think it was around 12 years old. That was my first sighting and my main sighting, and that's what got me into the entire field of paranormal stuff. And I never left it after that. The sightings continue here. People go for the one of the best documented by cases of a UFO sighting by what they call credible, which I don't go for that kind of thing about credible witnesses, but was the one from Trumbull, the Trumbull UFO, and that's in Trumbull County here. Is the UFO that was sighted by law enforcement and followed from area to neighborhood to neighborhood by police officer.
They chased it down the blocks and stuff. I remember that.
and that was just a few miles from here, and that went on for quite a while, and that was transferred from officer to officer, and they were calling back and forth to the headquarters, and they were going through, and that was just right here in the area. And we have a long history of sightings that are, some span over days. There was that one that happened over Lake Erie that went on, that they had video of. I don't know, the one man that had the video of the sightings over Lake Erie that went on for I think 11 days. And he was keeping it in the same spot in the same area. And each night they would appear and they'd split off. And those are just the type of things that we've had in this area that have gone on for, since I was a child. And it's been, I'm 59 now, so that's been for over 40 years. But it's been, this whole area has been that way. And it's mainly, it's because we've done so much for the military. We've done so much manufacturing for the military, special metals, manufacturing and that type of thing. Like I said, they call it the Rust Belt now because we've manufactured so many different types of metals and stuff for the car industry, for all types of industries, and they still do all types of titanium and aluminum and any type of metal manufacturing there is. It's done here. And it still is done here in different forms. And like I said, also we've got I'm situated right now between an Air Force base, small Air Force base, and a full, it's now a training base for all the armed forces. And it's right there where an arsenal is for World War II, where they used to manufacture and bury bombs, and they can never close the base because they can't account for all the bombs that are buried underground. There's so
Oh
many
my
big
gosh.
tunnels and stuff. And until they can account for all the bombs, they say they can't close it. So they have to keep the whole thing open. It's a massive complex, and and above ground, it's a beautiful country setting and stuff like that, and lots of roads going here and there. And there's all kinds of above ground vaults, doors. They're like
Yeah,
bunker
I've seen
doors.
those. Yeah, they're kind of under a hill, but it's like this and it's metal and there's doors and they're locked.
They're massive brass enclosures, and
Yeah.
they're just hidden. And below it, they down, and below that, it's all these tunnels and basically caves, if you want to call them, but they're just storage areas for these where bombs are kept, and but above ground, it's like you got all kinds of deer and all kinds of wildlife, and they bring hunters in just to control the population because they're fenced in, secure areas, and they can't let everything just go wild. So they have to bring people in to, control the wildlife.
I think that's why they have a trail
grassland,
going through where people can walk. If you know where these certain locations are, you can walk off path and find them. But generally, people just stick to the path, so that kind of keeps nature at bay. Although you can build a highway or a road or whatever, they'll still come. It won't be as much as, like you said, if they're naturally able to just be there and kind of, claim the land.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they have humans walking through there. There's human scent, and so that should mostly keep them at bay. But they'll cross through, but they won't just hang out there.
Yeah, they bring hunters in. The military bring hunters in, and they'll drop them off. But when they bring hunters in, they got the roads are just like a maze of roads in the complex. The whole place is all fenced off, so you can't just go in there. The public can't go in. But the military are bringing them in. The hunters in and drop them off on on the back of pickups and stuff, and let them be there for so many hours. And they have to rendezvous and pick them up and drag them out. And but that's a raffle kind of situation, and
Yeah, they kind of drop them off in one location. Here's your map. Here's where you're supposed to go, and they have to find their way to the other location where they'll be picked
bingo.
up.
And that's a big deal. They love that thing. That's like hunting in a barrel.
Too. Yeah, that used to be my favorite. I'm like, let's do some. Oh, I can use my compass. I know where to go. I found it. There's a couple girls that got lost once, and we had to look for them like for at least a good day. Finally found them in a swamp, but yeah, I love those location things where they're like, okay, you start from point A, you got to find your point B. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, you didn't pay attention in class, you're probably gonna get lost.
We get a lot of activity here, and also we when you talk about the cloud seeding, and I don't want to go too much into cloud seeding, but the chemtrails.
Okay, so let's cut off here and we'll pick back up on chemtrails when we come back, because we do have to go to our first music break.
Jam.
All right. Well, on this break, we have Miss Michaelin Hay. She is from Ontario, Canada. She would maybe 20 years old at this point. I'm thinking maybe more like 19, but yeah, probably most likely 20. You can find her on YouTube, Michaelin Hay, and she's got some amazing music and videos. And then we're going to finish up with Mr. Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with Sugar. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
You're running away. so surprised I worked out a smile, out a smile, out a smile. 'Cause I've grown and I've changed. Yeah, we went separate ways. How come we're both back here? 'Cause you pushed me away, let my life rearrange, but still we're both back here. Back here. Close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me, close to me. You know how to make me lose all control, all control. I should know when I need to let myself go. So let's go. Close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. I'm not the same, I'm not the same, I'm not the same person anymore. I'm not the same, I'm not the same, I'm not the same. I want you close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. There's too much sky, too blue, too white. The birds on the wire are singing, but I don't know why. Why aren't the roses hanging their heads? They're standing straight up, blooming instead. Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. Why does that guy have a smile on his face? Why is the sun even shining today? Why are the headlines talking about love? Don't they all know what happened to us? Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. The moon goes up, the sun goes down, the stars light up, the world goes round. the blood in my heart. Where'd you go? You're running away. I know that it ain't easy. I see you're losing your mind. You're pushing away. Yeah, it's a mistake. Yeah, it's a making me check my phone to see if you called. I know I'll get nothing at all. I carry the weight of both you and me. I'm starting to break. I wish you could see what you're doing to me. What you do. Yeah, we're going too fast, 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 fast. Get your foot off the gas, 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 gas. Yeah, we're gonna crash. How is this gonna last when we always collapse? Yeah, we're going too fast, 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 fast. Get your foot off the gas, 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 gas. Yeah, we're gonna crash. How is this gonna last when we always collapse? Slap, 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 slaps. When we always collapse. When we always collapse. Throw me off of my game again. Never thought I would bend. You're making me soft. We're starting to slip. You don't give a shit. It's starting to hurt. I can't keep my grip. Yeah. Oh, I can see the end begin. I can see. Yeah, we're going too fast, 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 fast. Get your foot off the gas, 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 gas. Yeah, we're gonna crash. How is this gonna last when we always collapse? Slap, 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 slap. Yeah, we're going too fast, 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 fast. Get your foot off the gas, 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 gas. Yeah, we're gonna crash. How is this gonna last when we always collapse? Slap, 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 slaps. When we always collapse. Oh, I can see the end begin. When we always collapse. Oh, I can see the end begin. There's too much sky, too blue, too white. The birds on the wire are singing, but I don't know why. Why aren't the roses hanging their heads? They're standing straight up, blooming instead. Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. Why does that guy have a smile on his face? Why is the sun even shining today? Why are the headlines talking Now that we're apart, there's nothing. Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. Blood in my heart. Blood in my heart. Your troubled heart bleeds like a river. It's rushing towards fields painted greener. It doesn't see the demons behind, praying you're getting close to the line, so they can get their hands on love and trade it off for silver. The curtain's nice, but what it hides is worse than sticks and stones. Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope. Better the devil you know. 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 Your nervous spine is crawling with shivers. You're standing right in the eye of a blizzard. You're inches from a shelter, so near to warmth of a home in a chandelier, shining down its light on love, wishing you'd be closer. The curtain's nice, but what it hides is worse than sticks and stones. Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope. Better the devil you know. 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 Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope. Better the devil you know. Better the devil you know. Better the devil you know. Better the devil you know.
Waiting here on this cold, lonely night.
other guy.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight, we are doing the Paradox Paranormal Forum. This evening, we have Travis Willard Moostoos. We also have Kevin McDougal, as well as Mr. Robert White. Welcome back, guys, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for having me.
Howdy. So I want to get back to Robert and Travis, what you guys were talking about, but first we're going to go to chemtrails and contrails, etc. That we were about to hit on with Kevin. Kevin, did you want to proceed with that?
Sure. Yeah, where we were leaving off is I just brought up that we've got an Air Force base, small one, and a general training base for all forces. I'm sandwiched right in between them here in northeastern Ohio. One of the things that they do was one of their charters at the Air Force base here was the actual chemtrail program from the CIA and all was done here at the Air Force base, and they testified in front of Congress and everything about it. So it's a legitimate program. Back they announced all that stuff and went over that stuff back in the 90s. So it wasn't no secretive. It was secretive at one time, but they brought it all out in the open, and it was documented. And I pulled up the documents from the National Archive and everything. So when people talk about the contrails and everything, and they go over these issues, it's not like it's some imaginary thing. It's not a conspiracy program, theory or anything like that. It's actually documented, and I've tried to talk about it several times, and people go over it, and people still refer to it like it's an imaginary thing, but it's not. It's real. It's all actual. They do it. I've gone through and they've showed the insides of some of the planes that they've done in the past, and what they may be, the photographs may be 10 or 12 years old, or even, some of them older than that, the technology they're showing, but it's basically all the same stuff that they've been doing. Some of it goes back to where they were doing, cloud seedings back in the 60s and the late 50s and stuff like that. But in other parts of it, it's different. They, incorporate it into the engines, or go through, with the wings and all, but they're actual programs. They do experiments. They do, they put in molecules into the air for reasons. There's all kinds of reasons they do it, whether it's going to be for camouflage or to, do cover-ups to cloud the skies so you can do other things for military issues, or for whatever they're going to be experimenting it for, or doing it for purposeful reasons, not just experiments. You may want to do things to, haze over the sky to make it a little bit more, less of a hot day or whatever, or make it so
To refract
you're going to
the
get rain,
sun's
or
rays.
exactly. It may be what we're going to look for in the long run for climate change. It might be how we're going to lower the Earth's temperature, or it might be how we're going to raise the Earth's temperature. Who knows? I don't know what the program is evolved to, or is going to be, or what all uses they have for it, but I do know that it was started. It has been, in use, and it has been being, evolving since it was brought out, and it was done right here, 5-6 miles from my house. I've seen it evolve. I've seen them do it. I've seen the planes take off. I've witnessed it. All that good stuff. It's not a myth. It's not a conspiracy theory. None of that stuff. And it's been documented through, in the news, and what's our channels on for Congress and stuff. If you watch the It's you if you just watch your TV set and you can watch some of the stuff on the hearings on PBS, and you can watch some of the stuff on if you got C-SPAN on cable or whatever like that, you can just watch the stuff. I don't have cable, but you can pick it up on the internet on C-SPAN coverage and stuff like that. It's amazing how much stuff that we, as a community, go through and say, "Oh, these are conspiracies," but they're not conspiracies. They're documented. You watch them on TV. They talk about them. You can call your congressman and it's Bill 19, and it was passed 10 years ago, and we went through the hearings, and it was done this way, and but it cracks me up sometimes that we go through and argue stuff day in and day out on programs when it's not an argument. It's a real thing. It's a real deal, and we have it documented, and it's gone down through the stuff, and and people live through it every day, and we fund it. You know what? You can go and look it up, and you can see where we pay for it. Okay, it's not hidden. The General Accounting Office is, it shows where the money goes. My own representative is sitting on the Appropriations Committee for Defense. He turns on and off the tap for funding for certain, for to pay the bills for the defense programs. Okay. Well, you sit there and look, they approve the stuff every year, every quarter, whatever like that, when they go through the stuff, whether or not to pay for these defense programs. These defense programs don't just keep going on and on and on. They have to have the funding approved. Okay? That's what the Appropriations Committee does. They keep giving the money for these groups. They don't have an automatic tap to turn on once the Pentagon, gets a budget approved one time, doesn't mean it's there forever.
No.
They have for these things. So your representative congressmen and your senators have control over these budgets, and they can turn them on and off. When they talk about defunding something, they can defund the program. That doesn't mean they stop the program. It just means that, you've got 75 people in your group. Well, instead of that $20 million going to you this year, we're only going to bring it down. We're going to turn that faucet back down to $1.5 million. You can keep those 75 people. We're not saying anything about those 75 people. We're only going to give you $1.5 million, and you can buy all you want, and you can keep any minute. You can even hire more people if you want, but you're only getting $1.5 million. Okay? Use it any way you want. Just report it correctly. Okay? There you go. Have fun. That's how Congress works. Okay?
Yeah.
Now,
and there's a lot of things you're talking about, conspiracy theories and people that poo-poo and ha-ha and whatever, but so many have been proven. And even most recently, the last 4 or 5 years, so many things have been proven. You still laughing? I don't know. But you said so you were about to continue with something, I believe.
But that's the way the things work in Congress. People need to take the stuff that we can prove and put them in one category, and then look at the real conspiracy theories, the ones that are hidden from us, and that's the ones that we need to go after. This Calvine UFO thing for this photograph that's been around for eons and eons and eons. I've been watching it on the programs, on the shows, and everything else, and I've been watching it on Twitter, and people's reactions to it, and all this other stuff like that. And one of the, I don't know if I want to get into the shows or what, but one of them was kind enough to go ahead and they brought out the full photograph, unedited, and brought it up, and they started discussing it, and they started going through the stuff, and I was glad because they did. And instead of being the crop part, they brought out the full frame. So when they brought out the full frame, it was easy enough to see at that point the perspective of where the photographer was standing and how the camera was angled, what they were looking at, how it was pointed at the objects in the photograph. At that point there, it made things very plain to see what the items could be and what they couldn't be. Okay? That made things very easy to go ahead and decipher what was real. The items were all real in the photograph. It just made it very easy to decipher what they were, could be, and what they couldn't be. Okay? I'll just put it that way. I don't want to start no big hubbub or anything like that. Now, the other points about it is if there was a plane in the photograph, or if there was something else, something like a plane in the photograph, a military plane, well, that military plane is going to have a flight path, a flight schedule, put it that way. Now, you can look it up. The flight schedule of that plane is going to be documented. It's not a secret military plane. Okay, it's just a regular old plane. You're going to be able to find out when it took off, where it took off, where it was going. You can find out even the speeds and stuff like that. Most likely, you can find out what they did, what the crew was, how they flew, what the day was, what it was shiny, if it was clear that day, what all they ran into. It's all going to be documented. Okay? So you got that photograph. You know when it was taken. You know where the guy was standing. You know where everything was in the picture, basically, because that guy was alive and he could tell you stuff like that, and they have background on it. So let's go get that information of that thing in the photograph, add that information, real life information, to that photograph. Okay, and then we take a little bit of that mystery out of that. Okay, so now we have another point of reference to put into that photograph if that fits, if that is, that's going to fit into that. And we're taking a bit of that mystery out of it. So we have some more facts. So we have this, we got this picture, a photograph. We know now where the location is. We know where the person was standing when they took the photograph. We know the angle that the camera was pointing. We know the basic type of film or the format of the film. We know that the lens is going to be a certain range of a lens. It's not going to be a 1,000 millimeter lens. It's not going to be a fisheye lens. Okay, it's not going to be like a 35 millimeter. 35. It's going to be something in a medium range here. Okay, we're going to know pretty much by, if we get the information from the plane, we're also going to know about what the weather was like. We're going to know also, because we can look it up on the weather statistics, about what the weather was like on that day from the National Weather Service, not ours, but over there in that area, about what the weather was like that time of day and everything else where he took the photograph. When we start putting pieces together, we can get an entire image of what's going on over there when that photograph was taken. And when we start putting all that together, we can start getting rid of all this guesswork. Okay? Because we've got fence posts down here. Okay? We got fence posts.
Yeah, you got to have a frame of reference.
Right. We're looking down on top of these fence posts. So we're up here. Okay? Then we got tree branches up here hanging down. We got fence posts, we got tree branches. We got an object out here that they're saying is a UFO, but we're looking down. The fences are close below us, the tree branches are above us, and we got a little object over here that looks like a plane. Okay? We start putting all these pieces together, and then we start filling in the gaps, and we go, okay, well, if this is a military plane, let's find out the data on it, okay? Now let's see what the weather was like on that day, at that time, okay? Let's get rid of all this guesswork, and let's start filling in the blanks. That's how investigators go about investigating right there, okay?
Yeah. You gotta debunk, you gotta do different things to be like, was this far, blah, blah. You gotta have a frame of reference, like you said, the fence posts, the trees, other things, how big was this thing exactly? What was the weather, the humidity? Because humidity can cause different effects or affects in the lens. But yeah,
Now,
it means like, I don't know. For me, you can go as far as you can, and people are still gonna poo-poo it and be like, "Oh well, it's just this or it's just that or blah blah blah." When in fact, it's really happening. There's just a bunch of sheeple or deniers or whatever you want to call it.
and there was a couple interesting things that came out from well, it was Alien Addicts show, where when he's done several shows on this now, but he did have a guest the other day that did bring out some interesting information about the photograph, about the film, because to me the film looked like black and white film, but there was color on some of the photographs. And what was interesting to me about that was he said that they ran it through a color processing instead of black and white processing, which was strange. And then there was also mention that it was ran that the black and white photograph may have been printed onto color film. So the theories were that possibly if it was ran through color processing, there's a possibility that it was stained or took on some of the
Yeah, that's a color splotch.
Yeah, well, the emulsion might have the chemicals from the color processing might have adhered to the emulsion of the black and white film. That's the only way that they're trying to wash it in there, that the black and white film might have been, because if you put it through like a C126 processing with the color stuff, and I don't know, I'm trying to think back, because see, at the time frame that that photograph was taken, I was actually doing Ilford film, that same type of film stock, if it was 35 millimeter film stock, which I still don't know, because the photographs they show the ratio is not a 35 millimeter film stock, nor is it a medium a square. It's not a medium square film stock either. So I don't know which type of camera they're trying to say this was. The print that they're showing is not either one of the two. So I still have not got a clarification about what film stock it was on. But
yeah, I wonder if it was like a Kodak or something foreign, like a Fuji.
The films that were available at the time for black and white, there was a Fuji film. I know that, because I was in photography school at the time, back at Ohio State University. So Buckeyes. It was shortly after that, and we used mainly, it was very artsy and commercial. But there was Ilford had a great, very fine film. Their 100 or 125 ISA was a very fine grain film stock, black and white. And a lot of people liked using it. I liked using it at the time because I had a very high silver content, and it was a very fine grain film, which that photograph to me was kind of reminiscent of that type of a film base. So Kodak had their 100, which was an also excellent film with a very excellent, very fine grain. Agfa had theirs out also, and so did Fuji. That was the four main ones that were out at the time for 35 millimeter. And then they made, all four of them should have made, I know at least two of them, if not three of them, made the medium stock for like the Pentax and the Hasselblads and everything else for the square format cameras. They also made the same type film for those.
Yeah, it's more square than photo.
The ones that are squares, the 6x6s. Yeah. And so I'm still trying to figure out which format was actually used, because I've not seen the actual negative, so I cannot I've not seen a contact print, nor have I seen a negative. So I cannot tell you exactly, because none of the photos are lined up as a ratio that is giving you the information for the correct information for the stock of the film. They're not. They're all disproportionate to the size. I've measured everything that I can from the prints that are the photos that they've posted. None of them line up to a ratio that lines up to a film stock. So nothing that I can tell so far from what has been posted online that's available that I've seen shows you what film stock they're from yet. So that's one of my big questions.
Yeah, and that
I have
information
not
should be
contacted.
provided.
Yeah, I've
Not
not
everybody
contacted
knows what
the-
it means, but for those of us that do, like, that's important or pertinent information.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm getting off on a tangent. People may not be concerned about this, and I may shut up. But this is something we're talking about stuff that's recent and what people have been going on about on Twitter and some of the web shows and stuff. And this is one of the ones that have been rather hot issue for some folks, and other people are just so fed up with this they want to just hurl. But but I thought since Robert was here and maybe Travis had gotten into this, I don't know, but it's just one of those ones that just blew up recently.
Yeah, that you're referring to the release of the it was supposed to be seen in like some real far off distant future, 2075 or something. The photo release that the former air pilot released. I'm pretty sure, right? Is this the one we're talking about?
It's the Calvin UFO that was shown back in the 90s. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm 100% into it. Like I see it and I'm just like I'm all right. I'm pretty. I'm like I want. I'm a heavy believer into the UFOs and the craft. So I believe that it is what it is, and there's no doubt in my mind about that.
I have no doubt that it's an actual photograph to me. But what I do believe is that the object in the photograph is not the diamond-shaped object is not a craft. It is an object in the that is stationary on the ground or in the water. It's an earthbound base, and the reason I say that is because from the photographer's position, he is on an slightly elevated up off ground level. He's looking down from above the fence posts, and he's looking down at the object, whatever it is, toward if it's water or whatever he might be. He's looking downward, slightly downward. He's not looking slightly upward. He's looking slightly downward. And the object that he's looking at, whether it's reflecting on the water surface or whatever it might be, either way, it's not floating in the air. That object is not. Now, the other
kind of
object...
like, I don't know, the beginning of that Tic Tac video started with it on the water, just kind of splashing around, and all of a sudden, the chase was on, from what I remember. But yeah, first they saw it just like kind of gyrating or whatever, like it was causing waves around it, not too far from the coast. It was just there on the water, and then all of a sudden, there was something going on in the sky. Maybe these are two different videos. But yeah, that was interesting to me. I don't think they always have to be in air, but I like your perspective there, like what you're seeing.
Yeah, and it brings up another thing is that, to me, once you get to a certain point in an investigation, you can draw a line and you can basically stop. And I didn't stop on this one. I kept going because people are pretty obsessive about this one. Normally, when I look at photographic evidence, I will get to a certain point, and then I can stop and then go on. I'd like to see what you got holding up there. I can see part of it.
Is this the one we're talking about? This photo, at least the Calvine.
Move it in a little
Calvine?
closer,
Oh,
or we can see the picture he's holding.
Can you post that in the Yeah, that one right there. Yeah,
That's the one, right? We're talking
Yep,
about?
that
Okay,
one.
yeah. Yeah, all right. So there's one thing too is I thought it would be like, wouldn't it be a lot more bigger too? Like, you know what I mean? If it was a huge, like ship, right? That's the one thing there that had me going. But so yeah, it is a smaller craft, right, of some sort. But yeah, no, I do believe it could be some sort of could be underwater device coming from down there too, right? It doesn't have to essentially be from space, right? It could be underwater base or something that you said on that
Yeah,
level,
it could be
earthbound.
the tip of something coming up from the water, or it could be
Hmm.
something, whatever it might be. But whatever it is, it's not, to me, it's not in the air. Um, and the whole thing is that if the guy is saying that he saw it up in the air, then that brings a big problem to me that whatever he photographed, um, it brings in a problem his credibility about everything, because that photograph to me was not taken with the camera pointing at an upward degree angle looking up into the sky. That photograph was taken at a slightly downward angle, and the photograph was not looking upward, it was looking downward. And the reason why you don't see all this other, that at least that first photograph that had that one with the fence post and the trees, the branches hanging down and everything else in front of it. To me, all that, and there's just too much. There's too much perspective in that photograph to indicate that. Put it that way, and everything to me just adds up in that photograph that we're looking at something that is land or water based. It's on that level. It's not up here. It's not up in there. It's not up in here. It's down this way. So it's going to be on the earthly plane. Put it that way. And so that's where I get to that point where there's something not lining up here with whatever the testimony is versus what the photographic evidence is, and everything else is coming up with the location and everything else. That's where we need to have further evidence, like the flight path for that plane, the information about that plane, which is stuff we can get. There's no reason for us not to have data on that plane. If people want to push this further, we need to finish getting the stuff. We need to get the information on the weather conditions. Is that a fog? Is there fog on that water that time of day? Is that fog in the sky? Let's find out about the film. What kind of film were you using? I want to see where, are the negatives still intact? Do you have a contact sheet? I want to get information on exactly that. You had the camera. If you had the camera, you knew what kind of lens you were using.
Yeah.
You don't have, if you don't remember the shutter speed and the f-stop, that's fine. That was
Yeah.
a long time ago. And a lot of times you don't ever remember that stuff. And the camera might have been set on an automatic setting or something. Who knows? Even if it was a manual camera, you don't know what you set it at.
No, it
But
should show in the log, though. Like, you can go to your photo, that information, whatever. It should show it, but yeah, this was longer ago than today, correct? Or is this a newer photo?
Yeah,
these
this
were
yeah.
back in 90 or something like that, 91 or 92, or was it
Okay.
back in 80s, 89
90,
or something?
90,
Yeah.
90, yeah. And I read somewhere it was like the UK Ministry of Defense wanted to keep them hidden until like 2076 or something like that. But the dude who had the photo had kept a copy of it, but he had to give up all the negatives, and they were only going to release it, right, like way later in time. But he happened to have that photo still, or whatever that we see are being shown, I should say.
So,
But yeah, I am a big believer that it is a craft of some sort. Whether it came from the space or out of the water is another question. But I do believe that it is a craft in the picture of what origin is the next mystery, and what you said about the camera and all, all that further evidence and research, right, needs to be followed up with as well. So, like, where did it go afterward? Where did,
Robert, you're a photographer. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I didn't get a good look at the picture, but yeah, if it's in the, well, from the, I think the 80s, they started including metadata on photos.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been 90s. So it should have all the information on there of what the f-stops and all that stuff was, what camera, what lens, what film. Usually
What time,
it'll have
what date?
I was about to say
set.
that, what time and date. Yeah. Yeah, so if it was taken on any digital sort of camera, it should have all that. If it was a manual camera, like a film type, it might not. So couldn't really say. But yeah, if it was taken from a perspective of above, like Minnie was saying, it'd have to be somewhere low, like whether it was in a valley or if it was on flat land. If you could see the fence and the trees or the branches, you'd be able to pinpoint pretty much where it was. If you knew the area, you'd probably be able to tell where in what land it was, what sort of, I don't know, area, like, I don't know. But yeah, should be easy enough to find out, like with what Manny was saying, with finding out the plane's details that was in the photo, where it was, when it was, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I'm in the washing sun.
Yeah.
I just sent you those photos as well.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the main photo, the whole full frame photo.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, because I
share
saw
it
the
on my
close
screen
up
if
and
you
I was
wanted.
like, are those like cracks from like age, or what the hell is that? What is that? I see this close up, I can see what it is, but what about, I don't see the branches or anything else like that. So yeah, I'd like to see the full one. If you can send it to the Paranormal Forum page so I can see it, that'd be awesome.
Oh, okay. I mean, well,
I sent it to Messenger. I don't know if that will be any of help.
Yeah, I can see it.
If I send it to the chat, can you put it full screen, or do you want me to put it full screen?
I can see it. He just sent it. I see it. That was in the air, because you see the fence line, you see the trees above. That's kind of like how mine was, but my spacecraft was further away. And to me, it looked like exactly like a freaking Tic Tac. And there was not one, but two. But I wonder, like, is it the same shape craft and it was just a gleam from the sun making it look Tic Tac-ish? But yeah, this fighter jet flew in, and it's like, it took him a while to get there because he's probably flying for Colorado Springs or somewhere like that. He finally shows up. Before he even comes into my line of vision, the second Tic Tac disappeared. And the first one kept going. And then this fighter jet flew down and around it, and then back around, and it had blinked out at that point. So it blinked out, and then further down the path, it came back into where you could see it again. It didn't go behind clouds or anything like that. It just, like, maybe the cloaking device or whatever they have going on, but it blinked out, and then further down the line, blinked back in, and then it was too far away, I couldn't see it. But what amazes me is I think they're trying to be seen. I think they want people to know they're there, because every single freaking time they're flying towards the airport. If you don't want to be seen, you're going to be flying the opposite direction, but every single time they're flying towards the airport. Like, they want us to know.
See, there are so many of that object that have been messed with, and I'm trying to get the. Yeah, these aren't Excuse me. I'm going to cough here. I got to mute myself.
No worries. Finally over that phase. Dang. Last weekend I felt bad. I'm like, excuse me, coughing some more. I feel much better now. I'm not dead, really. No.
Yeah. See,
Phase
what
3 of
I've
COVID.
gotten here is there's so many photos of here that have been enhanced from the originals that you look at the same photograph and all of a sudden you're looking at it and you go, oh, look, there's mountains, there's clouds, and there's this, that, and the other thing. And then you look at the original that was shown on the from the archive at the college museum or whatever it is, and there's the only thing you see is fog. But then you look at the same photograph on the other stuff, and you're seeing all these the mountains and the clouds and everything else and stuff like that.
That's weird.
And it's not in the original picture, so you
Yeah,
know
'cause you
they've
can-
been altered and then
Yeah.
reshown and
Because you can see the
so
photo.
that's some of the problems I have with some of these
And then the
images.
close-up of the same photo that Travis originally sent, very same photo, very same thing. I don't see mountains, I see clouds, I see sky, I see the fence, I see the trees above. So this is like, right on plane there. Like right.
Did you
not too
post them
far.
in the chat so we can bring them out? Would you?
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing. I said we're all dealing with the same images, so we can take a look at those. Because if not, we're all talking about different stuff, and it's like that's where we get to the thing about start saying, oh no, this is this and that's that, and
Yeah, and the whole thing happens. But yeah, I think we're on the same plane here. But let me go ahead and send that. All right. And it's sending. Well, on that note, we do have to go to our second music break. On this break, once more, we have Miss McKaylin Hay with Gravity, Mirror, Pins and Needles, Crime Example, who has Roy Washington, who is our musical host, who donates all this music to us so we may share it during music breaks instead of those irritating commercials. Some of them are funny, but for the most part, they kind of stick in your head like the most annoying song you don't like. Eventually, after you've heard it enough times, you start singing it. And then we got Fred Johnson III again from Canyon County, California with After Dark. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Signs leave behind for you to find. Talking on pins and needles, every word through a microscope. You keep stomping down on the ground while I've been stuck on this tightrope. I just wanna say what I wanna say without your sentence. I'm not willing to do the time when I'm innocent, and I'm innocent. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. Walked on my share of thin ice with your blowtorch at my feet. You won't ever see me beg, so take this tongue off your leash. I'm gonna say what I wanna say, don't need permission. Interpret it how you want, it's my decision. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. Dancing on shattered glass, kicking the pieces all around. My safety has been broken, this is now a hunting ground. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up.
When you smile, I see the life in your eyes. I hear the rhythm of you, creating moments we chill to. Wrapped in the waves of emotion, it's imperative. We're making love to your mind. It's like the feel of your thighs on my back when I'm deep in consummation with you in the room. It's not the scent of your breath in my face when we touch and share the rhythm of a loving embrace. Yeah. It's your smile that lets me know I'm on point, that I have rewritten the word in this joint, and it's you. Pretty brown eyes and confidence, you're my ministry, and girl, I'm feeling it. Come on, so smile for me, and don't let my hand go, girl. I just want you to know when I'm sending my love to you in verse 2 with a kiss and a beat that you and I can step to. Come on, God created the heavens and the earth. What he saved is very best for the day of your birth. No longer is it just me, myself, and I, but since you have arrived, you're the apple of my eye, girl. Open your heart and let me come inside. All this love is forever for the ride. And when that DJ played our favorite song with dance the night away until we're heading home where we're
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media. This evening, we are joined by Mr. Kevin McDougal, aka Mooney. Then we have Mr. Robert White from Australia, and then we have Mr. Travis Willard Mustis. Welcome back, you guys, and thanks so much for hanging out and chatting about this crazy little thing we call life these days. It's pretty intriguing.
Crazy little thing called love.
Yeah, but I replaced the I with the O.
Travis went invisible. He said he had a cloaking device. I didn't believe him.
Not until now.
Grab my coffee real quick here.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I downloaded earlier this week. You know how everybody's using he, she, her, he,
The
him, her,
pronouns.
she, yeah, pronouns. So, although I was born visible, now I identify as invisible, so I am transparent, and my pronouns are who and where.
Ooh,
Nice.
interesting.
Nice.
I really liked that when I was like, hell yes. Yep, that's me. Because it's like, I could be completely visible, but nobody sees me or is aware of my presence, or they act like they're not. But yeah, that's me. Who and where? Who and where am I?
That's awesome.
Where will I be?
That
Okay,
is perfect.
during the break, it was something very nice. Travis was telling us about his community work, which I thought was great. I believe community work is outstanding. Your service in your community is one of the best things people can do. Being involved is the main thing that we should concentrate on. Our presence online is great, but our presence in our community is the main reason we're here, is to help out. And so hats off, Travis. And when we do get a chance after bid, I hope you do share what you shared with us to the online folks, because I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, and I think before he does go there, I have to say, like, I used to do different things to earn badges and stuff as a kid. And first it started out as, oh, well, this is the project I'm supposed to do. And it was generally community service based. But not only are you helping your community and those around you in your neighborhood or whatnot, raking leaves or mowing the lawn or picking weeds or whatever you're doing, it really does nurture you in a sense where it builds upon your spirit and it makes you feel really good inside. You're not really gaining anything as far as monetary or whatnot, but that feeling of doing good to others around you, and I don't know, I think it really does help on both sides.
Yeah, it does. It makes your life fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, we were last talking about Calvine, UFO photographs from back in the 90s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were. But I thought we were going to let Travis say something real quick about his service, like the things he's been doing.
Yeah, I didn't know where we were going or what, but thank you so much for your guys' kind words, and I'm so thankful for that mention and the call out, and yeah, it's been a wonderful summer, and getting back and doing a lot for the community in terms of bringing language courses to the community for everyone to learn and come back to. And we had 3 phases of that. We had courses for adults and young youth, and then we had a children's teaching class as well. So it was all taught by our wonderful elders that came in and wanted to be a part of it. And yeah, it was wonderful to put all that effort in. And not only that, but with traveling, across the lands for gathering for ceremonies and just bringing back that life to the community and helping the people come out on that venture as well, and harvesting and rediscovering the land with them, and seeing that fulfillment inside of them. It did like you said, it did make me feel good inside, and like you said, for the community to come together and be together again and work together again was a prize in itself. And yeah, it was really, it's been an honor, and to be seen doing this stuff too is an honor in itself as well. And yeah, I had a great time, great summer, and meet, like I said, all the connections and people I've met and elders and stories I've heard, and the things places I've been. It's all part of the journey, and I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of all that. So thank you guys for bringing that up and letting me talk a little bit about that, and appreciate your kind words, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And,
I have a question. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay.
Okay, so that building you guys were building where you had awesome music going on, and it was part of your story for Facebook,
Yes.
is that a Kwanzaa hut or what is that called? It's
Oh,
like a
sorry.
place
That's
where you guys
yeah.
are
It's
gonna be like dancing and stuff, but there's also like makeshift stands where people are gonna sit and everything. Like eventually I was just like, holy crap, like look at all that work you guys did. But is that known as a Kwanzaa hut or what is that called?
that would be our powwow arbor, and yes, all the dance. There's like entrances for the dancers and people like stands for the people to sit in and watch all the different ceremonial dances that take place in within the arbor, right? And it's all beautifully lit up. Like I said, we put it all together traditionally, and within 4 days, like we only had like 4 days to really work on it. So I was really out there giving her with a lot of the poles and helping out my friends, and a lot of the people, like
And
I
it
said,
seemed
just
like
came
more
together.
people came in as time went by.
Yes,
There's more and more people because they were like, hey, I should go help too. And arbor, being
yes,
called an arbor makes sense too because I was like, are those little baby trees they planted or what? And then all of a sudden I see them raising them up to people. And so it is like an arbor. It's like branches covering and it was awesome.
yes. So that celebration was to take place, and yeah, we built that, and it was like I said, a lot of families came together and helped out, and it was like I said, it just all these magical things just kind of fell into place. And it just happened, like I said, out of nothing. So that's like when, like I say, the magic happened, right? Because it wasn't there. Go back like a week or two ago, like
Yeah.
we only had like first they had to get the field and cut
And
it
then
out
at
and
the
all
end,
that,
you take
right?
it all down again, right?
Yeah. The field itself was donated to he in his like he wanted to in his well, when he made his journey, and so it was even a bigger story than all of us just getting together. Let's have a powwow, right? And you can't just do that kind of thing either. Like you can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna have a powwow." Like we have to go through all the elders who hold those ceremonies and be allowed to. So like they have to smoke with the spirit world and ask for permission to have all that. And like 8 pipes were raised for our permission to have that ceremony for the next four years or so. So like we built this. Well, we helped build on the site, and it was like I said, it was a very coming together experience, and seeing everything take place, and yeah, it was a real wonderful process. And like I said, I enjoyed my time out there, aside from going about and acting on these different productions, and all the crazy investigation side work that I do, and the paranormal radio, and all the other side missions that I have in my life going, right? So
We did have a
it's the one.
paranormal investigation, but we're going to talk about that after we get to Calvine.
Yeah, let's talk about
what
the
Moon was talking
Calvine
about.
UFO. Yeah, let's finish up on that. But yeah, just thank you guys for letting me have that little bit about that. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so Moon's about to share a screen. But yeah, so when you guys are doing that smoking process, and there's not just 4 or 6, there's 8 different pipes. That's like an offering to the other side, right?
Yeah, that was like a ceremony that didn't even it took place elsewhere in the land. Like we had to travel far out there to go visit the other land and where it was the ceremony is taking place and whatnot. And yeah, the offerings and whatnot. And like I said, it was on Spirit World, like if they wanted to have it or not, right? And
nice. And
so
yes.
it was very yeah, like I said, it was very honoring that 8 pipes were lifted at that ceremony. So
that's awesome. I love even numbers. All right, Moon just shared that photo of the UFO and the jet. Moon, take it away.
Oh, he's muted again.
Oh, is he? Dang it. Yeah, you are muted. Just hit the mic at the bottom of the screen. Slap.
Can you see the photo? Or is it
Yes.
not there anymore?
I see it. It was there, then went away, then it came back. Now it's gone again.
It's popping back up for me.
That's okay. I know which one you're talking about.
Is the photo up there now?
Yeah.
Okay. The only difference I've done on this photo, this is the one you can see in the top right-hand corner. It says, with permission of Sheffield Hallam University, Craig Lindsay. Okay, and I put my name under so everyone knows just that I have altered it slightly by adding these little bars here. okay, on the right-hand bottom corner. That's all I've done to it. I haven't even adjusted any exposure or anything to it. And this is just a photograph I got off the internet, okay, from their site.
Right.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
if you look down here at the very bottom, and I'm going to just enlarge this a little bit, okay? I'm going to drag it down. I don't want to make anybody dizzy or anything. But
I'm just kidding.
if I get things too out of whack, let me know and I'll correct it. But can you guys now see these bars down here?
Yes.
Okay. Why I put these bars in here was just for the reason of I wanted to get normally on a fence post. I figured these fence posts were probably 3 foot tall, maybe 4. I figured probably 3.5 to 4 foot tall.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4.
Okay. And usually this top this is usually about 6 inches from the top where they'll put the last one of these cables. And these wires are usually about a foot apart. I put these spacers here at 1 foot. Okay. Each one of these represents 1 foot. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what I got up here on the screen for you. So if you're looking out here, basically our photographer is not on ground level. Okay. Ground level would be down here in this area. Okay. You see?
Okay, where again?
Can you see my?
Okay, that's if he's 2 feet tall. Okay, we already said this fence is 4.5 to 5 feet tall. This would be a person of regular standard height standing behind the fence line taking a photo. Because if
Can you see my mouse, my blue mouse cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see it's below the picture, okay?
Yeah, so that's about 3 feet, 3.5 feet.
Yeah, I'm taking this post right here. I'm just going to go say this post is 3.5 foot tall. That's a conservative estimate. I don't think anyone would put a post and put guide wires up on a post anywhere below 3.5 feet.
Yeah, they're generally 4 feet to, like you said, 3.5.
Yeah, and that's conservative. I'm just saying 3.5 is about the lowest somebody's going to go on a post and put barbed wire or regular wire, whatever they might put, string or anything.
Otherwise, why have one?
Correct. So I'm saying that's 3.5 feet, and I'm going to go down. So ground level should be right about here. If that's 3.5 feet, that would be ground level right here.
No, ground level would be way further down.
I'm being conservative. I'm a conservative person, so I don't want people to go arguing and say no. It should have been that cursor should have been 1 centimeter below that or above that or something. I'm going to be conservative and say that's where ground level is.
Okay, so
I can agree with that.
Okay, so if that's ground level and that's where a photographer's feet would be, okay, and we're going to say that the photographer is tall and he's 6 foot. Okay. We're just going to say that's.
Can I stop you there? Okay. Why would it be at feet level instead of at head level? Because you're taking a picture.
Well, I'm starting at. I'm an investigator. I'm starting at the ground. So if he's 6 foot tall, I'm starting at here and I'm going to go up 6 feet. Okay. So from here to the bottom of the photograph is a foot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So his head should be about right here. And if he's holding a 35 millimeter camera, like they said, which I don't know if that's, but the shot should be originating from here if he's at ground level. If he's standing at ground level, erect, okay? Now, and that's saying that would even be saying that he's 6 foot, like 6'3" or 4, okay?
But it appears he's back from the fence.
You don't hold the lens at the top of your head. You hold the lens at your eyeball.
Right here, yeah.
Okay. So that would be the point of, if he was standing at ground level, that would be the point of view from the photographer. But
if he was right on the fence, you wouldn't see the fence, so he's back from the fence.
Back from the fence, and he's above the fence. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's where the point of view would have been if he was at ground level. Okay. Right there. But he's not. You can obviously see, because if he was at ground level and that UFO was up in the sky, he'd be looking up at it like that, and he'd be looking more at you see how it would be? It would be looking up at the thing from there. So what he's actually at is he's looking straight out at this thing. Okay?
Yeah, it's a
He's
straight view
looking
because
out.
this is my
Yeah.
view.
So this is this guy's view, and he's looking almost straight out of it, but he's probably standing at about this level right here. I'm figuring right about here.
Yeah, he's looking up a little bit.
Just a little bit, okay? So he's probably at this elevation right here on the ground, and he's looking slightly out at that, okay?
And if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, it's the main image that shows the branches, the fence line, the UFO, and the jet all in one. And that's on We Are Paradox Media on Facebook, if you're wondering.
Okay, so I'm figuring that his view has got to be somewhere in this range right here.
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking like the size of this thing, to me, and I can't tell, like, is this tree closer or the UFO, but it seems like it's going to be like a airline jet or some size like that. It's not huge like a mothership, but it's like an airline jet size.
But he's looking out from this kind of area right here. He's standing in this kind of area on the ground.
And the jet's a little farther off because it's not going to get too close.
Yeah, but the thing is, the important thing is his perspective is somewhere in this range back here, okay, back from the fence line, probably about 30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, I looked at that fence line and I took a focal length lens at 55 millimeters, okay, and at 30 feet, that fence comes into focus at 30 feet, okay. I did experiments on this at 55 millimeter lens, and that fence will come into focus at about 30 feet. And I feel that fence was right at 30 feet away from where he was standing. And that's my personal view, and that's with a medium focus.
What I'm seeing as a photographer is the trees first, the fence is second, the second tree is third, and the spacecraft is fourth, and the jet is fifth.
Okay, well, I'm not even going to put those directly into there. I actually think the fence is first. This is first.
I think the tree is first, then the fence.
But I think the fence is actually, the tree is actually hanging, may or may not, this one here, may or may not be hanging.
I think the one hanging is first, then the fence, then the other tree.
The fence line. This one I think is probably hanging over the water, okay? But they're close. These items are within 10 feet of each other.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 4 to 5.
First thing in the object. This is second. This is probably 10 or 20 feet from this. Okay, out further. Mm-hmm. This is probably
and then the spacecraft, then the jet.
5 feet or so closer. Okay, so I would go here, 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 here. And now this and this are questionable. I might even put this closer and then that further away, but I'm not going to make a ruling on that.
I think the UFO is first, and the jet probably came around on this side, but he's looping back around on the back side. That's why he looks so much smaller.
Okay. This very well may be a reflection. I'm not going there.
It is.
Okay.
I think it's just
I'm not going to rule on that. I'm not going to rule on that at the moment. But there's a possibility this is a reflection, but I'm not going to go there. That's not important to me at the moment, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is out here, and you can see some detail and stuff on it. Okay? Now, if this is water, if this medium here that we're looking at is water, okay? And we can see it acting as a mirror reflecting what could be sky up in here. Okay.
Well, it is sky because look, there's the tree in front, and then there's all those little tiny trees in the background. That is the sky.
Well, these are coming. These trees that are hanging here are rooted back in this area, down in here. They're just hanging
it's back
over
here,
the water,
like right over your head. You're taking a picture.
Yeah, I'm like standing under them. Yeah. Okay, so they're rooted back in this area. They may be, one of them might be over here, the trunk, and the other one might be over here, or they could even be the same tree. I don't know, but they look like they're coming from. This one looks like it's rooted down over in this area, and this one looks like it's rooted right over here, somewhere. Okay. So then, when I look at this item here, to me it looks like it's sitting right about like that. Okay, part of it's sticking out of something of the water. Part of it is just a reflection in the water. Okay. So that to me,
I see what you're saying now because the way the clouds are shaped. I see what you're saying.
So you see how that right there to me is just a reflection. The bottom part's a reflection of the top part.
The only reason I would go against that is look how high up on the water this is. Look where the line of the cloud is here and the line of the cloud down there. It's two different
these clouds,
elevations.
These clouds are just reflected. This is the same as, just say if I had a mirror sitting here.
But if this was a cloud on top of the water, it's doing the exact same thing, but kind of not. This one goes out a little further where the jet is. So it does kind of look like water, but at the same time, the UFO craft and that first cloud that is on top does not line up. So it either has to be on a wave or something. And you would generally see the separation and such.
The clouds are not lining up here. Okay?
That's what I'm saying.
The clouds do not have
aircraft is above.
But listen, the clouds are not having, the object is centered here, but the clouds are not mirroring here. The clouds, you're seeing entire cloud is there without having a mirror of the cloud. The cloud mirror goes on for a long, long way.
Yeah, this one goes this way, this one is this way. I think it's just the way clouds are.
No. Yeah, no. The cloud does not mirror. You're seeing a complete cloud sky.
I've seen so many different pictures of mirrors of mountains and clouds and everything. It lines up.
You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The lake does not end here. You're not seeing the other end of the. You're not seeing the other side of the lake.
No, I don't have to see the end. This is the surface.
No. This is out in the middle of the lake. Okay.
If this was a reflection, wouldn't this been supposed to be up here too?
No, we're not seeing. There's more. The water keeps going. Okay, out of the frame.
Okay.
So we're not seeing the sky is a complete. It's like.
So why is the jet not up above too?
You got to listen. Let me finish explaining this so we can get. Okay. You got it. Yeah, the jet's a reflection also. So you see the reason why you don't see you don't see a seam where the sky reflects is because you're seeing a complete image of the sky. Okay. If the sky ended here somewhere, you'd see a seam, but the entire sky is being represented in that scope there. See, the water keeps going and the water doesn't end until you get way up and
further back.
Up in here.
That's what you're trying to say.
Sky doesn't, the water doesn't end up in here. Okay.
Okay.
And then you see the bank up here and then the mountains up there behind it or whatever.
The only thing that makes me say this is not a reflection is the fence line, the trees below, and the trees above. That's the only thing that makes my mind as a photographer say no. But continue. I'm sorry.
Here's what you got. Here's what you should realize is that we're looking at an angle either straight into it or straight down or slightly into it. Okay. Remember I was telling you that a range is like we're looking from an angle like from here. Okay. We're not looking at an angle from here. We're looking at an angle from up in here, in this area. If we were looking at an angle from here, we would see the other side of the water. We'd see the bank. We'd see the bank, and we'd see the mountains or whatever might be there, and then you'd see the sky above, up here. Okay. If we were looking from down here, if this was our vantage point, we would see the other side of the water, okay? And then we'd see the sky above, and the UFO would be up here, and the plane would be up here, okay? That's what I'm trying to get to. It's our perspective.
I'm just wondering where's the ripples
is not down here at ground level, like everyone's trying to say, so the UFO would be up here in the sky. See, here's the trees. These trees aren't 1,000 feet. These are trees that are like this. These are almost like that's almost like a weeping willow or something on there. I don't think it's
Could be.
a weeping willow necessarily, but look how they're hanging down. These are deciduous trees. These aren't like pine trees that are 150 feet up in the air. These things are hanging down near the ground. Okay, we're not looking way up in the air where the branches don't start it until you get up to 75 to 100 feet. These are down near the ground. Okay, we're viewing.
What were you saying, Robert?
If you check out the plane, it looks more like a bird because the tail of the plane extends outwards and doesn't have an up or down. And the wings themselves look like they're wings of a bird. They sort of bow outwards. And the tip of the plane looks more like a beak with an eye. I can see that.
Well, there's that little round bobble at the end.
The UFO, you can see the
that
line
right
where
there?
it extends from the water up and then down. You can see the
Look
reflection.
look at what Robert's talking about. Look how these wings sweep back. See how the image. This is not touched up, and you can see the grain. See what I was telling you about the grain of the film stock.
And if it's
what
reflected,
makes me think it's like a black and white
undercarriage.
So you see how the tail actually comes out like a delta shape.
I've seen
on
all
both
that
sides.
shit. I've seen tons of birds, everything. This is not a bird. This is
Look at it now when you're close, not just
I
what
am.
you
It's
think.
like right in my face, like huge. And it's got that shape. And then, like I was saying, that little round bobble at the end. Okay, so nearest to the jet, there's that little round bobble at the end. Is that
This?
really a really round bobble? Or is that like some disturbance in the atmosphere? I don't know what that little round bobble at the end is, but it's really weird. But
To
I
me,
don't see any
to me,
form of
those are
wings or
wings in
anything.
motion. And I think
Really?
Robert has got it right there that it's a bird and it's not a plane.
I
And it's
don't
not
think so.
Superman.
Even the
It's a
shape
bird.
of the head and everything does not make sense to me. What kind of bird would that be if it were a bird?
Look at the shape.
I am, and I see the light on the front. I see that dark part towards the end. I see that light part, then a little bobble and another bobble. What the fuck is that?
Possibly
and why
a
is
swallow
this?
because they have that sort of wing.
They have the sharp pointed
So
ones.
if you see when you're out back and you're in your eyes and you're thinking about it and saying, "Oh, that's a jet," because everyone keeps talking about this jet. Okay. Now,
Well,
like I
yes,
said,
farther back,
we
you
can
tell
find
by
out. We can find out.
the digitization of it, like the way that the lens captures things. This thing is obviously closer than the jet because a lot of things with the jet are kind of digitized, and that depends on what kind of pixel you have on your camera or whatever film you're using, etc. I don't think they had digital back in the 90s, so it would be what sort of film speed are you using? The f-stop, all
this was
that
not
shit.
digital. This was grain. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
This is
It's too early
silver
for digital.
grain and stuff. And yeah, so we're not thinking about that as being a digital issue. And
I'm just
but
saying, like, my
what
frame
we're
of
looking at is
reference,
that
different medias I've used, this is not digital. This is further back. This is what it's picking up as far as detail. This UFO is closer than this jet. Or a bird, as you guys might say. So Robert just shared something too. Let's
Now-
see what he said.
what did he share? Yeah.
Yes, there's a swallow. Like I said, sharp wings.
Now the only thing that doesn't match up on this, I don't know how this bird when it's flying, how it does with its tail, if it opens it up.
It
To
does
when
this
it's
depending on how it flies.
But yeah. But this bird does look quite a bit like that item, the thing in the picture. And did I share this or is not? Am I not showing that? Okay, I have to change the.
I haven't seen that. No, not the one that you're referring to. Because I don't agree with the original
let me see if
post
I can
and this
share
swallow being something that it is. But yes, share what you're saying because otherwise I'm like, I don't concur with that. I don't know. I've seen tons of birds.
Let me see about.
I watched the sky my whole life.
Do you see the plane that I made big?
No. You, Robert, or Travis?
Sorry, what was that?
What am I
You
sharing
guys
right
see
now?
the?
Anything?
He said he did a plane
No,
that
no.
big. No, I don't see it.
Okay. Oh, the preview's not available at the moment. Let's go to.
I have a little more than 10 minutes left.
Is that all? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well,
I know it
let's get
flies
off
so
that for a
fast.
second here.
No, but we should have a discussion in the chat room, and I did share those
Do you see
pictures.
that?
So if
Do
you're
you see
listening
the
right now,
photograph
leave
again?
comments. It's about to pop up.
Do you guys
Let's
see the
what it-
photograph again?
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
the towels go
here's what
this. They don't go like that.
going back to what I was saying.
Or in a round
Going back to
bubble.
what I was saying before. The only points I really want to make about anything of this right here is the main issue is the perspective of the photographer. Okay.
Yeah.
If I was going to have, like, say, this guy here is my photographer.
I'd like to see the perspective. Yeah, like where he's at.
Okay.
Like looking up.
Here's my photographer. This is the lens. Okay. Now, if he was 6 foot tall, okay, and he was standing on the ground level, he would be photographing from this perspective right here. He'd be looking through the lens from right in here, okay? And if he was looking through the lens at a UFO in the sky, he'd be looking way up at it from down here. But he's not, okay? We're looking down on these fence posts. This guy
We're
is actually
looking straight ahead, because if we're looking down, the lines are going to look different. If we're looking up, the lines are going to look different. It looks like a straightforward shot. Like I take these all the time when I'm doing sunrises, sunsets,
Doesn't
whatever.
Doesn't it look like he's almost looking straight on this object?
It looks, yeah,
even,
like this is a straightforward freaking photograph. This is the trees above me, the trees to the side, the trees in the distance. You could tell, like, from the lines, trees in the background, the fence line, the UFO, the jet. It's all, I don't know, it's not looking up or looking down.
Yeah.
To me, that is straightforward, because as a photographer, I've done things up and down and all around. You try different methods, different views. This is a straightforward shot. This is like, I'm framing
He's
this.
looking straight out, almost like he's on a level ground with that object out there, looking straight out at it, right?
That's what I'm seeing.
Now, if you're looking straight out at something, are you looking up in the sky? No. He's looking out at an object in the water, okay? And I believe he's even looking, because you can see the way that the fence is almost looking backwards, and you can see the top. You see that three-dimensional shape?
I would agree with that,
there?
except for there's no ripple effect whatsoever with water, unless it's like early morning or late afternoon.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Just look at the top of this. You see that rounded shape? We're looking down on top of this post, okay? So we're actually above these posts, high enough that we can see.
Do you know not all posts are cut flat across? Some are cut at angles.
It doesn't matter. You're getting ahead of yourself. We have to take this one step at a time.
If you're shooting down, wouldn't you see a grass line of some sort? No?
We're not.
Not if it's cropped out.
Okay.
And if you're looking down at the fence and not getting the edge of the water, you'd be looking sort of downwards but avoiding the edge at the bank.
Correct.
What about the trees and
where
reflections
the posts go.
and
so
the clouds and reflections?
Where we're at is we're high enough that we can see the top of the posts. 3.5 feet tall or higher, we'll just leave it at 3.5 feet. If they're 3.5 feet, you have to look at how far back you are and how high you have to be to see the top of the post. Okay? That right there. You see this?
Well, I'm at least 6'4" or something. I see the posts. Sometimes they're cut like cattywampus. Sometimes they're cut like this. It just depends on who the cutter is.
Yeah, but we see both these posts, and we have no indication showing that they're.
It depends on how high the cow was that was leaning up against the post, because there's fur on it.
How many mushrooms did that cow eat?
Okay. So So this gives us perspective. This is what I'm trying to say. This gives us perspective of how we're looking out at the object. Okay? How high we are off the ground level down here. We're up in an area like this. We're looking out at it, not up at it, not down the ground, but we're looking out at it. Pretty
Otherwise,
much
there'd
straight.
be a reflection. Like I would see a reflection of this tree here. I'd see a reflection of this. Something. Okay, especially the trees in the background. You see that line of the trees in the background? They're not upside down. They're right side up. They're all going across this way. Then there's this tree in the corner,
So
lower hand corner.
What we're seeing,
that would be this way,
right,
not this way.
These trees are closer to us. These trees are closer to us than the object. I
They're
will number
not
this number
reflecting.
one.
If there
Number
was
two.
a reflection, everything would be reflecting, not just
okay,
the UFO and the aircraft.
This is not a right here. This is not a reflection. This bush or whatever this is not a reflection. This fence post
It
and this
should
fence
be,
is not
if
a
there
reflection.
was a reflection.
This number 3. This tree is not a reflection. This tree is not a reflection. We got one in order of how they appear. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are not reflections. Okay.
The tree line,
This,
straight up, not
this right
down.
here. This is not a reflection. This top part.
Reflection, not.
You see, this is not a reflection. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, this. I think this is number 5 right here. I believe Robert is correct. I believe this is a bird. This is not a reflection. This bird is in movement. It is not hovering in the sky. Okay?
Okay, so when you guys say it's a bird, you're talking about the military jet?
Not a military bird. I'm talking about a organic bird that flies in the sky.
I know, but the one that
created.
looks like it's a military jet, you think that is the thing, because the UFO is not. But if you're saying the jet is, I could probably see that, but I don't think so. Because look at how it's like
this item right
wings
here,
out, and it's like pink, right where the tail goes, exactly where it's at. I don't want to fight.
Are you seeing
I'm
this
a
right
lover,
here?
not a fighter, but I am looking. I'm zooming in.
I'm considering this item right here. Can you see that green dot circle?
I'm looking.
Is it on your screen?
No.
Nope. Sorry about that. Nope. I can't see anything.
Okay, hang on one second.
I can see your lovely face and the moon behind you.
I was hoping that this stuff was going so you could actually see it.
Robert, you're muted.
I'm going to put this picture in the chat room so you can see exactly what I just circled.
I hope so, because I'm still not convinced. I'm still convinced. I'm looking at
I just want to make sure we're looking at the same thing, and then that way...
if there was reflections, I see the trees in the background reflecting. I see this bush reflecting. I see something. Nothing in the distance or in the front ground is reflecting. So to me, no, this is not a reflection. This is an actual view of above and below.
Okay,
not to be argumentative, but as a
if you
photographer,
look at the just below the halfway mark of that diamond-shaped thing, you can see the watermark.
No, it's a line in the sky, and look at the clouds below and the clouds above. They do not match up. They don't. That does not happen.
Do you see that?
I do.
On the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the one I said. If you're saying that is the lark or whatever it is, or stark or whatever the hell.
Well, it's underneath
a bird. I'm not going to say what it is, what kind of bird it is, but if you look, and if you see right here, this should look, to me, that right there is an eye.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. The wing,
or
and
that could be the capsule in which the captain is driving the fucking ship.
And just behind the wings are the legs. You can sort of see a claw
this
mark.
wing is in motion. It's in front of us.
Just like
here
when
we go back here
to Denver, there was fuel leaking, and it was leaving a trail. That could be that as well. I almost died. Okay, I almost died in the Rocky Mountains.
Can you guys still see the photograph or not?
Yeah, you can still see the photo.
Okay. Now let me go through this numbering system one more
That
time
looks exactly
while we
like
all
the
can.
jet that I captured in my
Yeah.
photo. And yes, sometimes it was clear, and yet sometimes it was just like blank because it's moving so fast. It gets pixelated. You can't help it. Your camera thinks it's fast enough, but indeed it's not. That
Yeah,
looks
I can see
exactly
that.
like the fighter jet that I caught in my video. Not just pictures, motherfucking video. And you can see it fly through, swoop back around, and you can see that UFO disappear. Travis, if I haven't sent it to you yet, I will. 2 different videos, but yeah, you can see the 2 of them, and then just the one, and the whole shenanigans going on. It was insane. And they're always going towards the freaking airport. It's like they want to be known. They want people to find them. Because otherwise, wouldn't you fly
Yeah.
somewhere else? You have technology. You know. I want them to know. And that's what they're doing. Yep. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate?
Yes, they want to. They definitely want to be seen if there's, the influx of these reports, and there's nothing that really seems to be wrong with this picture. I see it. I like it. Yeah, but I do see your arguments, and you know what I mean. It's fair. It's fair. I can see where you're going with this, and
doesn't line up to me.
But yeah, I see craft and whatnot, and also too, if you're saying that's water, that's kind of a small area of water. Like he's like taking a picture of a puddle. Wouldn't there be like more?
It's like, wow, there's a bush in the middle of this.
If
yeah, like you would see
check out
more
Alien
trees
Addicts
and stuff.
Yeah, if you check out Alien Addicts, couple shows he's had, it shows the it shows the actual
stuff
location of it. If you go,
okay.
and
I have to cut you off because
it's not an ocean or anything. It's an inlet. It's like a.
I want you guys to be able to share your information. Travis, where can people find you and your artwork, and where to buy or communicate or such?
All right. Yeah, you can find. You just have to Google in if you want to read any of the books I have out there. Just type in my name, Google Travis Willier books, and it'll lead you to Royal Road. Or you can check me out on Facebook, Travis Willier, actor, painter, and you can find all my paintings there and stuff like that. Other than that, I have the 4 Directions UFO Society. You can join up there and check all the UFO videos and articles and cool stuff that we post there. Thank you, everybody, for the time here. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis. And I hope you're here again next month. Okay, so Robert White, where can people find you, your stonework, everything that's going on with you?
You can find me on Facebook usually as what's that? Oh, I don't know. Can't remember. Borg202 at hotmail.com. That's the main one that I use for FB. I have got a Instagram, but I can't remember that one. I think that's with the Hotmail as well. Mainly just on Facebook. Next.
Kevin McDougal, aka Mooney, where can people find you and your paranormal services?
The easiest place to get me is on Twitter or on Facebook. On Twitter, I am Moonlicht _INV. That's MOONLICHT _INV as in Victor. On Facebook, it's Moonlicht Investigations, MOONLICHT Investigations. I look forward to hearing from anybody. Just send me a message or, scream at me or whatever. And I do appreciate you having me on the show. I enjoyed myself. Robert, good to see you. Travis, wonderful to see you again. And congratulations on all your involvements in the community. You're a good man, sir. Tess, I love you, dear.
I love you too, Moon. And I'm so glad you joined us. And I hope you guys all come back next month. I'm hoping to have a regular stasis for a little bit. Have a little bit of regularness. But thank you so much again, you guys, for being my guest tonight. It was so awesome talking to you. And I was not trying to argue, but I'm trying to brain pick and be like, this is what I'm seeing, what are you seeing, blah, blah, blah. So I hope you didn't take it negatively, but I really do appreciate you guys being here.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
And I want to thank all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's, TPNL Radio, Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse you've been listening tonight. I had a wonderful time. I can't wait to do it again. Tomorrow night we got Mr. William Pattinson. He is the writer for Crystal Creek Camp. Jason. No matter how fast you run, he's just walking at a regular pace, and he always catches up with you. It's kind of like the things that nightmares are made of. But we're gonna have him on tomorrow night. We're gonna be talking about haunted paintings and tulpas. So I'm pretty excited about that. Guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Night, love and light. You guys take care of my news, and I'll see you back here, same time, same crazy place.